I'm Michelangelo Signorile, and this is Substack Live. Of course, a lot of you are subscribers to my show, The Michelangelo Signorile Show. I was supposed to be with Joe Sudbay here, but we're having trouble, I don't know, somehow getting him into the chat. So I, I'm sorry, he'll probably be in the chat, but I mean into this Substack Live. He's not able to get in. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I thought it was really important to connect with everybody as we are dealing with the horror of this weekend. Donald Trump launching a war, unprovoked, illegal, against Iran. I'll be talking a lot about it on my SiriusXM show today. I know a lot of you will be listening, and I know a lot of you won't be, and maybe this is the only time we'll connect. So I wanted to just join in a discussion here, and of course, you can participate in the comments. And I want to hear from you, your questions, your thoughts, what you're thinking, as we now see a really complete and total um, bungling of any sort of war. Now, I see that Joe came in for a second there, and then his camera went off. So, maybe he's, there he
Can you hear
is.
Mike? Can you hear me?
And I
Yeah,
can't hear
sorry
you,
for that.
but I can't hear you, and I don't know if anybody can hear you.
You can't hear me now?
No, I can hear you. Okay, wow, okay, we did it.
Sorry. I don't know what happened there. It wouldn't let me join from my laptop, but from the phone it did.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Every time with Substack Live, there's another different, glitch that goes on. I was just saying how this is a complete disaster,
Ugh.
a bungled operation of a bad and reckless attack to begin with no rationale, no provocation from Iran. We've now learned that even within their private discussions in the Pentagon, even within private discussions in the White House, they admitted that there was no ability for Iran to um, attack the United States. There was no imminent attack on bases. They were trying to first say, Trump was saying there were attacks imminent upon bases. We have now seen, of course, 4 American service members dead, hundreds of people dead, maybe thousands of people dead in Iran, throughout the region, as Iran has lashed out. Israel hitting southern Lebanon. This is becoming an explosive big war. The White House seems to have no answers on what they're doing, what Trump is doing. He keeps changing his mind on what the reasons are. Regime change. It's Iran is attacking us now. Hegseth is saying no, it's not a regime change. It is Iran coming after. There's no anything, and what we saw with that press conference that was very concerning with Hegseth and General Kane from the Joint Chiefs is that um, they don't see this going the way they thought it was going to go. They're sending in more forces. They are saying maybe 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. There's no end game. And of course, if it's not regime change, what are they expecting to happen in 4 or 5 weeks? And already we've now seen planes shot down. Uh, by friendly fire, because that's what happens when everybody's shooting at everyone. Europe is alarmed. The prime minister of the UK is saying we are not going to get involved, even though they're seeing attacks coming on their own forces in the area and on their people who are in Dubai. The French very worried about attacks on their assets. I mean, this is growing into a much larger war, and they don't have any rationale, any plan, any idea of what they're doing.
No, it's 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 so insane. Over the weekend, Trump would talk to different reporters and give them different excuses. It was like he was using reporters as a focus group to see what landed. And then he spoke at the White House and went off and tried to explain a little bit. And then what did he start talking about? The ballroom. He said, I'm not going to get bored. And then he started talking about the ballroom. There were reports over the weekend that he was heavily influenced by MBS from Saudi Arabia, from Israel. This is a president who started a war, had, you know, sent a video out early in the morning on Saturday. That evening, had a party with millionaires at his resort in
Yeah.
Florida. This there are service members dying, and he's just been so cavalier about that. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. Mike, this any other president, even when they were doing the announcement, we saw the pictures, they created this secure facility allegedly in at Mar-a-Lago where people were looking in the curtains and Susie Wiles was wearing an Apple phone. Like they are so dangerous for this country and for the world. And the American people have no idea what he's doing. Look, we remember what the lead up to the Iraq war. We were all out of our minds that Democrats were going along, and many did. Hillary Clinton, Kerry, Dick Gephardt, the Democratic leader at the time, stood behind Bush when he signed it, and it was a long, drawn out campaign. This thing was like, he gave the State of the Union less than a week ago and did not prepare this country for a war
No.
because they had no idea we were going to go into a war on Tuesday. It is so insane. It's just even hard to in really encompass how crazy this.
Well, the question is why and why now? He had assurances from the Iranians. They had a deal uh, through the Omani leader who feels burned that was, they were saying, better than the deal that Obama had in terms of making sure Iran could not enrich uranium, making sure it couldn't create a bomb. He didn't want that. He was hoping they weren't going to agree to something because he wanted a war. So I think we have to start from that premise. He wanted a war. He was hoping they wouldn't give him a deal. He wanted to take this country to war. It would change the subject to something he felt powerful about in terms of what was going on with the economy, with Epstein, all of that. It would be a risky thing in his brain, but it could be a big win. You can just see him thinking that way, right? It could be a big win. I could liberate the country, and I don't know, people would get around me, rally around the flag, all of that kind of thing. Of course, there is no plan, so none of that is going to happen. But that, I think, is what we have to start with. He wanted a war. It was a war of choice. He wanted a war. He wanted to feel strong and powerful. He wanted to do something that would make him be looked at as, some sort of hero. He does this whole thing about regime change, rise up to the people of Iran. He hasn't said that now since Saturday. As Hegseth has said, this is not about regime change. They keep changing the story, and the fact that they had an early morning press conference means they know it's not playing out well. The fact that they're sending in more troops, they know it's not playing out well. Iran has planned for this. There are ayatollahs upon ayatollahs upon ayatollahs inside Iran to take over. There are people all over the country in much more decentralized, I'm talking about in the government, much more decentralized, setups. The Revolutionary Guard is massive and big and well stocked with weapons. He actually said, in one interview with the New York Times, he said, on the one hand, that he hoped it would play out like Venezuela, that that was the great model, keeping that government in place. Well, that's not liberating the people. Venezuela still doesn't have rights. People still are under the same laws under the Maduro regime. They still don't have the right to free speech. They still don't have a lot of rights that they would have in a democracy. They don't have elections. They don't have free and fair elections. A lot of political prisoners are in prison. So he kind of said that, which is crazy for Iran, that kind of thing, that there's going to be some sort of Ayatollah that takes orders from Trump, right? So that he could get the oil, maybe. He put that out to the New York Times. Then at the same time, he said, well, I'm also hoping the Revolutionary Guard will just put down their arms and surrender to the people. I mean, what on earth is that, right? And then you have this different story coming from these other people in the administration. So, and then as you said, this whole thing where he's just, on the other hand, just forgetting about it and talking about his ballroom. This is the potential here for a disaster and civil war inside Iran. There isn't an organized resistance. People see people protesting in the streets. That doesn't mean there's an organized resistance. I mean, in Venezuela, you had an opposition leader. You had someone who actually had won an election, right? Very different story there. And look at how that's playing out. This already we're seeing deaths, already we're seeing casualties, and no end in sight. Says it could be 5 weeks, 6 weeks, who knows? They're going to run out of weapons at some point. They're sending in more troops. If they're sending in more forces already, and by the way, he did not rule out in this latest exchange troops on the ground. He's not ruling it out.
It's so insane. You know, the headlines, I looked a little while ago. It went all the way to middle.
Oh, your sound is breaking up, Joe. Sorry.
Let me see. Can you hear me now? Is it
Yeah,
better?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. You know, Wall Street Journal, more troops on way to Middle East. New York Times, Mideast conflict widens. CNN, war spirals in Middle East. Like, Mike, this is Monday. This thing started Saturday. We didn't know it was going to start. It just decided because Donald Trump decided he could do a war.
Yeah.
Plan. No, like, this is so insulting to the men and women in our armed services. We saw last week there were leaks coming out of the Joint Chiefs that they were worried. They think there was that we should do it. There was a lot of possibility of blowback. There was a lot of possibility of things going wrong. 'Cause that's what. But Donald Trump, you made a point. He keeps talking about Venezuela. He keeps thinking that everything is going to be that kind of just go in, get them out, get Maduro out, and it's a big win. He's a hero. He has said that repeatedly. Still, he's still saying it. That is not the model. This,
No.
like I was talking to a friend earlier. It's like so hard to wrap your head around that. We
Well,
are
it's already not the model. I don't even know how you could say that. That was an abduction and a, 24-hour, if that, operation, right? This, he's saying it's gonna be an extended war, an extended, and by the way, he used the word war, right? It's gonna be an extended assault that's going to go on for weeks, and you've got Russia saying that, I mean, hypocritically, this is horrible. We're creating death and stop killing civilians. Of course, that's what they've done in Ukraine. But one Russian official said, this frees our hands, right? I mean, this sends a message to Russia and China. I mean, the ramifications here are massive across the world, across the region.
absolutely, and I think something really important starting to see it right away. Um, this is the moment when the war starts. Is when the moment the president has the most support from the American people. Right? There is no CNN has a poll today that most say they lack Trump trust in. They're
Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit again, Joe.
probably because I'm ranting so much.
Yeah, no, most people don't support it. Washington Post did a flash poll. Only 39% of people supported it. That's his base is very split. MAGA is very split. A lot of MAGA is going nuts. They're attacking each other. Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson opposed to this. Mark Levin calling them traitors. Mark Levin. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene going after him. So they're all split on what this is about. And the more we see this go on, the more we see uh, casualties, which we hope doesn't happen, the more he's going to have that split in his base. Everyone else is already opposed to this. You're right. If in the beginning is when you have the most support, this is going to crater just like everything else.
Just like everything else he does. It is Just but the thing the we everything he's done has been disastrous since he became president, the tariffs, horrible im
Yeah.
going to
Yeah, I think you've gone out completely there. I don't know. It's a
alright,
crazy thing.
I'm gonna I'm gonna move into another area. Is this any better, Mike? I'm so sorry.
That
This
is
is the first
better. No,
this is
no,
the
this is Substack screwed us over with,
Yeah,
something happened with, the inability to connect on the computer.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So, I hope that does it sound any better?
that sounds much better.
Yeah, so everything the guy does is a disaster. He's just endangering this country, he's endangering our lives. They've already been killing American citizens, we've seen that. His support is tanking across the board. He gave a State of the Union last week, which is, again, supposed to be a great moment for the president. We'd forgotten about it by the next day. This 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 presidency is disastrous. Which is no surprise to those of us who opposed him, but what's really scary is the disaster he's creating for the United States of America, the people of this country, everyone in this country, and people around the world. This is a dangerous, dangerous man, and it is a really frightening time.
Absolutely. Joe, I asked you to come on, like, last minute because I said I wanted to just do a Substack Live to connect with people. Obviously, I have to do my show 3 o'clock Eastern time, and you've been on Substack Live on Lincoln Square Media and elsewhere. So I really appreciate your jumping in, and sorry to everyone for the Substack technical.
Yeah. Yeah, I apologize too, sorry. But
Thanks so
thanks for
much.
doing this, Mike. We all need it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I'll be speaking with you again. Thanks everybody for listening in and watching in. And again, I'll be on at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Joe, of course, will be on Sirius XM shortly throughout the week and on State of the States, where he is host on Saturdays. Thanks again, everybody, for listening in.